So welcome to the September SOF gathering. So a quick look around the room. I recognise lots of faces and I see some new faces. So whose first time is this? Give us a little gesture, a wave. Hey Amanda, hey Paul, Jessica, Adelaide. Hey, you're definitely not Rob Hartnett. You can change it. Just go to the three buttons and change your name, Danny. Otherwise, I was like, who's that? Phil's going to just let people in the door for me because I've made him co-host, though he might not realise that right now. The way we start the pods is we start with a poem and then some silence and then some musings, and then we dive into the topic. It's all very easy. You're absolutely encouraged to write in the chat box and also to when we get into discussion mode, please share. I can't ever imagine running a live event for facilitators, trainers, consultants and coaches where there is no interaction. So that is super important for me, and I know for many of you as well. So let me start with a poem from the trusty book. This is called The Calm Center by Steve Taylor. And the poem today is called The Voice Inside Your Head. One day, you'll grow fed up with the voice inside your head, with its constant murmurings of discontent, its fear-mongering thoughts of the future, and its questioning of every choice you make. One day, you'll turn to it and calmly say, I refuse to listen. Then stand back, look away, and turn your attention to your surroundings, or to a quietness and a spaciousness you can sense inside you, just behind the voice. The voice is so self-absorbed that at first it won't even notice it's being ignored and will carry on chattering away to itself. You'll still hear its complaints and criticisms, but they won't convince you anymore. You'll doubt them, laugh at them, reject them. And gradually, without the fuel of your attention, the voice will become more hesitant, will stumble, slow down, leaving space, until eventually that self-assertive drawl that demanded to be heard and seemed to submerge the rest of reality will be no louder than a whisper, like a gentle breeze that seems to be part of a silence. So right now, the invitation is to put 2 feet on the floor, close your eyes, look out a window, put your eyes into a soft gaze. I'm just going to take a minute and a half of time just to arrive here and just be. So welcome. It's September, peeps. 2/3 of the year. Who can quite believe it? I don't. And it's, I don't know about you, but it feels like it's gone super fast. And it's been a long time since I've seen so many of you. I suddenly realized, like, the last time was about 7 weeks ago, at the beginning of July. Felt way too long. So for those of you who've never been before, the purpose of these spaces is for you to be able to just come and be you, be the facilitator, trainer, coach, take your hats off, but have someone else hold the space for you. Because in your day-to-day lives, you're doing that all the time for other people. And I actually get that that can be quite tiring. So it's nice that someone else does that for you. And then also just be able to meet other people who are like you, like-minded souls who get what it is like to be in this space. Freelancer, associate, small business owner, and yeah, just understand clients, learners, the ups, the downs, the goods, the bads, the uglies. So today the theme is all about us, you, and we're working with the word of the month, which is gathering. And I don't think it's passed anyone by that we're now on the 2nd of September. For those of you who have little people in your lives, apparently it's the start of a new year. School year starts on Monday for many, I think, or Tuesday. It might have already started for some people. And there is that real energy of back to school. And sometimes I hear that as well with the community and with our clients, because we've had that August break. And I think this is a really good time for us to pause and gather in and notice what's been going on for us in the year. We're still in harvest season. There's apparently 3 harvests that occur, especially in the Northern Hemisphere. So we've still got one more month of harvest and gathering in and pulling in. So this is a really good time, I think, for us as well, just to mirror nature and gather in what have we been doing, what is going on, what has worked for us, what do we want to leave behind as we go into the final 4 months. Also, I've had conversations with the collective and the community over the last year, and we've noticed that many people start to think about the future now for the following year. So don't wait to January. There's a lot of conversations that are starting now, even if they're unconscious or just bubbling around in your mind about what's 2023 going to bring for me? What's that going to be like? And I don't know about you, but some of my clients are already planning that year now. So I find it quite helpful to start that noticing for myself. A friend shared a really interesting Alan de Botton quote the other day on LinkedIn, and I thought it really good and appropriate for us. So I don't know, Phil, can you do me a favor and just write down what I'm about to say in the chat? So, because I'm sure someone will go, what was it? So Alan de Botton said, if you're not slightly embarrassed by the person you were last year, you haven't been learning enough. If you're not slightly embarrassed by the person you were last year, you haven't been learning enough. And so I invite you to do the same. I was like, oh, what was I like last September? And yeah, last September, I was very stuck and very energetically paused solidly in a fog, couldn't move forward. And noticing that energy isn't around me right now. So I'm like, okay, something's grown in me. I've moved on. There has been some learning. So I thought that was a really interesting quote that we could also notice and listen to in what it says to us in our heads. So we're going to take the time today to do a bit of a cleanse and a release, a bit of a time to celebrate and reap the rewards of all that we have been working on. So just chat. I'd love to hear some voices of what is the energy like for you right now as you are sitting here with everybody in this community. So if you want to put it in the chat box, or if you want to come off mute and put your voice in the room, that would be really appreciated. So who's going to go first? There's always someone I know.
Excited?
What are you excited for, Jamie?
Just new starts, new future, Just new challenges.
And that's an energy that you're really feeling right now, that newness.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Who else feels like they want to put their voice in the room?
Go on then. I can just always speak.
Hey, Jason.
Anticipation is the word. So the reason why is I'm doing a massive contract at the moment for Google, but there's a lot of stuff happening. But I'm just waiting that it's soon to be rolling in. But I also have other clients as well that I'm working, which are coming in now as well. Which, when it rains, it pours.
Yes. I think that energy sometimes happens, because I was once really good bit of advice as I was leaving Diageo. I was given that you divide your time into 3. So they'd have that time when you're doing what you do. So in our case, design, delivery, coaching. There's the piece on working on your business. And then there's that piece around networking, connecting, self-development. And maybe there's some other elements that I just put into those 3 that you would separate. And I do find that sometimes if one of those areas gets too big, the others, suffers the wrong word, but they diminish in size, definitely. And therefore I then trying to work out where to find the time to do that additional, that extra work and that extra thinking. Anna, I feel like a new student. I feel like a student. A new school year is starting and new learnings are coming. Beautiful. Yeah. The Southern Hemisphere. Yeah, Jessica, you're down in South Africa, aren't you? You haven't had, no, because it's winter time. When do you guys talk to us, Jessica? Help educate the Northern Hemispheres, as that is the majority of this room right now.
So we only take our break in December. So from this time of year, it starts feeling like you're crawling a little bit. And there's still a lot to do to get through to the end of the year. Pretty much December and half of January is a write-off. Yeah. So I'm feeling that fatigue, and yet I've got to pull off some big stuff in the next 3 months to sustain over December, Jan. But yesterday was officially 1st of spring. So seasonally, it feels quite optimistic and light. And I mean, I live in a part of the world where it's pretty much summer all the time, but still it's exciting when spring comes.
I think also that break, whereas we've just, as Zoe's just written in the chat box, you know, an appreciation for that break and travel this summer. I hope many of you were able to get away or have some downtime in August, though I think some people who don't have children then move that to September, because it's, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, a cheaper option. Okay, so today I've got some questions that I'm going to use for us to help our thinking, and I'm going to seed them in because it makes it just all a bit more interesting. I think we'll do it in breakout rooms, only because I think it's just way more fun working with other people and not just sitting on a screen looking at 35 other faces staring back at me. So the way we are going to do this, I'm going to give you a juicy amount of time in the breakout rooms. So let's take a good 20 minutes and we're going to go into groups of 3. I'm just going to paste the questions in, and you can use these or you can have other ones. You don't have to use all of them. So the questions are going to be, what am I most proud of so far this year? What did I hope to achieve? What do I still plan to do? And how will I ensure it happens? What habits or beliefs are no longer serving me that I can let go of? And what is something I need to start saying yes or no to? So we're going to go into breakout rooms.
Can you write those down? Is it possible, or just say?
Oh yeah, you know what I've done, Harriet? I've written them. I've dropped them into the chat box and then not send, enter. You know, this is the ENFP sunshine yellow in me. So proud that she had these ready to go and then doesn't actually share them with anyone. Sorry. Appreciate being reminded, but I didn't have it set up. So let's just see what we've got going on. We have got We've got 12 rooms. Yippee. So when you get into the room, there might be people there you know. There might be people there you don't know. I suggest a few hellos and some introductions. And then you're all facilitators and trainers. You know how to facilitate a 20-minute session for yourselves. So you can design it. Do you take 5 minutes to do some thinking on your own? Do you then share with everybody? Do you take a question at a time? The choice is yours. You're adults, so treat you as such. If you have any questions, just come back into, just put your hand up. I think you can do that and call my attention. I will come and help. I might even come into a room because I probably need to do I'll do these questions myself as well. So before we part company, what questions do you have at this time? I take silence to mean tacit agreement that everybody's okay. Wonderful. Okay, I'm opening the rooms. You just need to accept the invite. I can also broadcast my room into the breakout rooms. I might test that, so don't be shocked if the voice of Kirsty booms through in a nice way. So welcome back. Welcome back. I think it'd just be really interesting if people are open to it, to just do some sharing. You can either write in the chat box or put your voice in the room, and we'll just go through the questions. There isn't enough time, there never is. I'm sorry, Suzanne. Maybe I just need to do one question. And I'm knowing how everybody talks, that's probably all that's really required. It's my over-giving habit that some of you are aware of. Okay, so some of the things you're most proud of. Who wants to share? So we've had 9 months. What are people most proud of?
Suzanne, I'll go for it if you want.
Yeah.
Morning, everybody. Thank you, Room 4, for great, energized chats. Transition. There was 2 in the room who were very proud of the transition that they have done over. We kind of went back a little bit longer, over the last 2 years. So yeah. 2 people left their jobs in the midst of pandemic and pre-pandemic and went solo. So they're proud of the journey they've had so far.
Amazing. Congratulations. That is awesome. And always interesting when we choose to leave the safety net of the monthly salary, which is often the reason that people freak out. It's not about people or the culture that they're going to miss, it's the money, is what I put it down to. So well done, you guys and ladies. That is amazing. Thank you, Paul. Who else? Something you're proud of?
Can I share something, because I really love input from everybody here, and not now, but maybe on LinkedIn or beyond. I shared the fact that I have piloted a text-based coaching process with Cambridge University using a platform, and really looking at how we can make coaching more accessible to people who can't readily afford it. We've got a proof of concept. We're now going to look for funding. There's tons of possibilities, so much to learn. And I would really like to hear from anyone really who'd like to hear more about it. And I can talk about it till the cows come home. But really, please get in touch if you're interested. I'll put my email in the chat.
Congrats. But congrats on putting your time and energy and faith into something like that. That sounds intriguing. Cool. What else are people proud of the first 8 months of the year?
I can go. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, go for it, Ruth.
So I'm really proud of, so I've written a book which publishes on the 28th of September called Next Level Leadership, 9 Lessons from Conscious Leaders. It's all digesting the top traits and behaviors of the podcast guests I've been interviewing for the last 3 years, who are all founders of CEOs who are great people leaders and running commercially successful businesses. So there's that. And then I'm also doing a TED Talk on the 22nd of October. And I followed like 2 processes to get there for both the book. And I just feel proud that I've like stuck to something and then like achieved it. So
amazing.
Yeah.
I can see lots of people around the room going, oh my God, a book and a TEDx talk. Amazing. Well done you. That's incredible. I can see people coming off mute, so I think some voices want to come in the room who'd like to share what they're proud of. Everyone's so polite. For those of you who are not British, this is very British. No, you go next. No, you go next. Or no one wants to share.
I'll go. Mine's it is a work win and not a work win in some ways. So I'm really proud that I managed to take a whole month out of my business, didn't check any emails, LinkedIn, nothing, when I went on honeymoon this year. So that's my one. And I came awesome. Business was still standing. So that's also good. I think that's a really, you're our poster child. You can take a month off and the world does not fall apart. It doesn't, does it? I don't know, we think it will, but it doesn't. So congrats, Amy, and congratulations on the happy day and nuptials. Anything else that people are proud of that they want to pop in the room? Like the silence. And it's okay to blow our own trumpets.
Kirsty, I've got a different take on the question, and I love the achievements that people have made, but mine is a bit softer and a bit more woolly, but it's about who and how I am, about kind of how I've stepped into my identity and how I behave and feel on a day-to-day basis. And that is a big thing for me, because I have been very goal orientated and very action orientated, and I'm not, and I'm really chuffed with that. So I just thought I'd share a different take on it.
Congrats. And I saw that happening as well when you were with me in the Flourishing Facilitator. So well on you. And it takes time, these things. They don't just happen overnight just because we make a decision that you'd like to shift something. Any hopes of what you wanted to achieve, and did you achieve? Any hopes? Tom, hey, lovely.
Hello. Yeah, I won't bore people with the details of what it was, but it's more about serendipity than anything, because I got my little work notebook out today to write some notes for today, and I realized the last time I wrote in it was was in January, which was the first pod of the year. And it's not to say I haven't been since, but it's the last time I used this book. And it's interesting because that was about setting intention. So it had exactly what I planned to achieve this year written right in front of me. And coming to this one, I'm like, oh yeah, I literally just achieved that like 3 days ago. So it's like, so I won't go into the details, but I was just more inspired by the serendipity of I happened to look at this book at the right time, and it told me what I planned to do, and I'd done it. So I thought I'd share that bit.
I love that. Tom, I'm like going, oh yeah, we did intention setting, didn't we, in January? Maybe I should have encouraged those who were there at us in January to bring that along. For those of you who don't know me, this is classic. It's unintentional, but it always works. It always comes together. Anything else that people were hoping to achieve? Mine.
I'm happy to share. So not going into too much detail, I've just come off a 2-month sabbatical, and coming back into the last 4 months of the year, feeling a lot of pressure because there's some stuff we had to let go of. The sabbatical was out of my control, it's health related. So coming back and feeling a lot of pressure, and the 2 lovely women in my breakout group just helped me strip all of that pressure back and just go, Sandrine said, what's the simplest thing that could happen? And just acknowledging that and just letting go of that pressure and just kind of focusing on what would be meaningful was a really helpful discussion.
Wonderful. And isn't it great just even having those short conversations with people can just diffuse the voices in our head, like the poem said. So I've had enough of listening to you. Okay. What do you still got on the list that you'd like to do and like to achieve? Anything you've got in the plan for the next 4 months?
Yeah, I've got the Dublin Marathon, which I signed up in a blink of an eye, and I didn't think about it. I just went, right, I'm doing it, and signed up. And then I got the receipt in the post. The receipt in the email. Went, shit. So yeah, I got to do that, and that's a big bucket list for me. And
have you done a marathon before?
No, never done one.
Who in the room? Who's done a marathon before that could give Jason any advice? Jonathan, Katie, anyone else? I'm just flicking screens. Sorry. Anyone else? Zoe, Jessica, Nicola. Maybe write some words of encouragement for Jason.
I do want to do an ultra marathon though, which is over the mountains. So that's the bigger goal beyond that. So that's the dream.
Okay.
I have advice from, I don't do marathon, but I have a friend that he's a winner in triathlon, And what he told me that we should be more aware of the reaction of our organism. And usually there are those watches with pulse, and people should, around the pulse 150, 160, they should start really thinking, am I able to go further?
Yeah.
Because kind of normally the limit is around 900, 190, but with age we should decrease this limit for ourselves, for our kind of safety.
But and I think that's a natural thing that we, as we get older, we're aware of, we put limitations on ourselves for safety, but actually, if we didn't, what would happen? I ran last night for the first time. I've got an 11-day challenge. I'm running every day, and we got to 6K, and I was like, this fucking hurts. I'm just not enjoying this. I ground out the final 2K, and it was fine, but it's like, it's your head. It is actually your head that does it all. So Jason, I know you've got to get the Mars and the Ks on your legs. It's a head game as well.
Yeah, I went to my physio last night because my shins are starting to hurt a little bit. And she's an ultra marathon runner, and she said, just go out and have fun and just.
Oh no, is that me or him?
It's him, I think.
Oh well, we'll move on. Jason will come back. He always does. What else are people planning to do?
Don't go for time up, which I'm not. I'm just going to go steady pace.
It's all gone a bit weird.
Jason, I know people, very good journalist in Poland. He did marathon after having the third stroke, but the last moment he was walking.
Yeah, and that's okay. I like the advice here. Train. Just go for it. Put the training in. Forget about your time and your goals. Lovely. Oh, and rest days are as important. Anyone else got anything on their horizon that they'd like to do in the next 4 months? Put it in the public domain and share.
Okay, I'm happy to.
Go on, Rita.
So shall I go, Kirsty? Yeah. For me, I'd like to have the sale of my house in the UK completed so I can properly start the next phase of my life in Ireland. And it has been going on for 3 months so far. I'm losing the will to live, and it's largely down to the incompetence of the buyer's solicitor, not the buyer. So in terms of this whole transition period, I'm finding it really difficult because I'm planning to still do work in the UK, but right now I'm taking on work in the UK, I'm taking on work in Ireland. And yeah, the whole delay is taking its toll. And so I'm hoping by the time your October meeting, Kirsty, that flipping house sale will have closed and I'll have different energy.
Well, that would be good. And it's always a nice marker when you've got something that you come to on a monthly or a weekly basis. You can measure where things are at. So one of the things two things I've got planned, and it's just the most appropriate time to talk about it. So 2 things I've got planned for this year, which is around the community, your good selves, is 2 live events. And I'm really excited by that because we haven't done anything live properly for 2.5 years. I know we came together at Christmas, but even still, it didn't feel, it was good. And those of us who were there, it was fantastic. We had a wonderful time, but it still wasn't the same because there was still an element of, can we be together? Should we not be together? Yada, yada, yada. So the first one that's coming up is the 30th of September in London. And that's going to be the September gathering. And it's all about self-facilitation. And I know some of you looking around the screen are already joining us, which is super exciting. So if you've got Friday, the 30th September available in your diaries, come play, come hang out with me, Amy, Lara, Zoe. Who else is coming? Phil. I think there are a few others in the, if I miss anyone else who's on here, there are a few others who are able to come. And then, oh, well, that's rude, Sue. Your daughter having a baby that day. I mean, seriously.
I know, it's so exciting. But
Mother Nature and all that.
Like, could it be last minute? If she hasn't had it and it's the next day or something, can I? Yeah.
Yes. You have the hotline on my phone, so just drop me a message. And then we're going to do the Christmas gathering as well on Friday, the is it the 9th of December or the 8th? 8th, Katie, or 9th?
Friday the 9th.
So Friday the 9th, that'll be our traditional gathering. And what happens at that one is, again, we do just a reflection, got a load of questions that we go through for the last 12 months, and then we do vision boarding. So we get the glue out, the scissors, the magazines, we think about what's coming up for us into the future, and we relive a playful youth of cutting and sticking and talking and being amongst friends. So we're going to do that. So that's the 9th. I think we'll try and do that one in the Midlands, so it's so much easier for everybody to travel to. So one in London and one in the Midlands. On the Christmas one, we'll also have Christmas lunch, because the reason I started the Christmas gatherings all those years ago when I lived in London was I have this visual of, it's probably me, just sitting there with a glass of bubbles or drink of choice, now it's kombucha, but then like a party popper is going, like celebrating on your own is bloody boring. And you go, yay me. So I just thought it's way more fun celebrating with everybody else, and also being able to share food with one another. So Krishna, you're being way too organized. We haven't set up the sign up. So I will, no, it's good. It's a good question. I shouldn't tell people that we're going to do it and then not be around. So we'll get that sorted out. I just need to get a location. Great question, Harriet. Who wants to do a gathering in Scotland? One of the things for next year is bringing back live gatherings around the UK, and even I know some of the guys and girls in Germany and Spain are really keen to start gathering together. So I'll probably say to people, help me to help you. So how do we do this? I can't do that on my own. So I'd be up for, if anyone's got the energy, drop me an email or a message in here before we leave, and I can start pulling that together and making some magic happen with the community. As ever, we have a party afterwards in the kitchen. So if you want to stay on for another 15 minutes, I'm going to be in the metaphorical kitchen with a coffee if you want to just come and chat. Otherwise, the next gathering is Friday the 7th of October. Now, this is quite an auspicious date for people in my business. So for those of you who've been part of the SoF family for a while, you may know Jenny Moore. So two exciting bits of news I'm allowed to tell people now. So firstly, Jenny gets married on the 7th, which is super exciting. She's also then leaving SoF to have a baby. So Jenny's pregnant and she's off to have a baby. So it's like bittersweet. I get to go to her wedding and then I have to say goodbye to her. So come on the 7th. If you know Jenny, feel free to drop her a note. She'll be mortified that she might get some emails from people. She'll be like, what have you said? But I encourage you to do that if you know her. On the 7th, the guest is going to be Neil Baker. Neil is part of the Dark Angels team. He's a writer, he's a poet, and we're going to be talking about the question of questions. So I'm sitting down with him next week. Those of you who came to his Wisdom Keeper session through the membership, we're going to do a version of that. And it's quite interesting thinking about questions and the power of questions, but not, do you even need to ask a question, was his comment at one point. When are questions appropriate and when are they not? And do questions limit us? Anyway, for those of us who use questions all the time in our world, I thought it was a really interesting challenge and an interesting hypothetical question. So that is the plan for the 7th of December. So I've just thrown loads of dates at you. Got the 30th of September, if you can come along to London and join us. That's 9:30 through to 3:30 in Leather Lane, which is an awesome part of London near Farringdon. The 7th of October, we're back in the room here. And then 9th of December, we'll be together to do a live gathering. There will always be the pods though. They will always happen. So I'm going to leave it at that and actually finish on time for once, because normally I'm galloping to the close of the hour. and I want to be really respectful for your time. If you want to stay on, feel free to stay on. Amy's putting the dates in the chat. Thank you so much, Amy. Yeah, if you want to stay, stay. If you need to go, put off. Have a lovely weekend. I hope it's one of the last, I hope it's not the last warm weekend, but it feels like it. And I'll see you all in October, if not September time. Look after yourselves. Go well.